Hey, what's up everybody? It's Noah from PhoneDog.com. The question I've been asked more than any other over the past couple of weeks is a really simple one. Glyde or enV2? Verizon subscribers, would-be customers want to know which phone should I get? Should I get the Glyde? Should I get the enV2? So I'm going to try to do a quick overview, tell you what I think. Of course, you can go back and watch the full-length reviews. Also, check out PhoneDog.com for much more on both phones. Basically, it comes down to this. They're very similar in terms of what they do. They're VCast messaging phones. They're not full-on phones. They both have a QWERTY board. enV2, it folds open. Glyde, it slides down, or glides down, I guess you could say. They're both, relatively small, smaller than a smartphone, a little bit bigger than your regular super skinny phone, excuse me. And they both do VCast music, VCast videos, messaging. You can do mobile IM, you can do mobile email, high-speed enV2 access, all that kind of stuff. The major differences break down to this. Form factor. Glyde is thicker, but it's also smaller in terms of width. It's hard to see here, but it's a little bit smaller. And it's also lighter. So Glyde, for some reason, feels smaller in the hand. I think because it's lighter and because it's narrower, it just feels a little more compact. The enV2 is certainly a lot smaller than the original enV, but it's a little bit bigger kind of overall than Glyde, even though Glyde is thicker. So form factor-wise, I'm going to give the edge to Glyde a little bit. It's a personal preference. Some people might like enV2 better. As far as the keyboards go, I think it's pretty much even. They're just different. enV2 is a little bit bigger, has a dedicated D-pad, which is nice, although the Glyde, you can use these cursor buttons as a D-pad. The Glyde's keyboard's smaller, but I found it perfectly comfortable to use. One thing about Glyde is I like the positioning of the spacebar better. It's in the middle like a regular computer keyboard, whereas an enV2 spacebar is over on the side. They're both comfortable to hold when you're texting. I like the Glyde a little bit better just because it's a little bit smaller. It just feels a little more compact. But enV2, when I was testing it and I took it with me for a couple days when I was around doing stuff, it's perfectly fine, works well. The displays, so obviously enV2 has two displays, one on the front, one on the inside. Glyde just has one. Glyde's display is a touch screen, and it's a wide screen, a little bit wider than the enV2. So the touch screen is handy, but it's not the best touch screen around. It works pretty well for most things. You have the sensitivity. It does get frustrating in certain tasks, especially web browsing, trying to click small web links. I had trouble sometimes. It's honestly, the Glyde has a little bit better display, but if you're looking for a phone that's like a state-of-the-art touchscreen phone, like iPhone, you might be a little disappointed. For a general use phone with kind of the added, cool factor of a touchscreen, works pretty well. Let's see, speakers. The enV2 gets a little bit of a nod. The speakers, they both have stereo speakers. On enV2, they're mounted right in front here, so they work a little bit better. Not that big of a deal. They both work well. The camera, Glyde is a little bit better. They're both 2 megapixels, but Glyde also adds autofocus and a flash. It's not the best flash out there, but it can help every once in a while. Like if you're taking a shot of friends close up at night in a restaurant, in a club, something like that, the flash could actually help you get a shot that otherwise you wouldn't be able to get. So a little bit of advantage to the Glyde. The Glyde has a real web browser, an HTML web browser. enV2 does not. So that's a bit of an advantage to Glyde, except that the screen is so small and it's so short in particular, and then also the width isn't nearly what an actual computer browser will give you. So I found that I had to move around a lot when I was browsing, which made it, honestly, if you're going to do a lot of heavy web browsing, neither one of these phones is the one you want to get. Glyde will let you get to a few more websites, and it does have an optimized browsing mode as well. But again, it's not like a smartphone. It's not a heavy web browsing phone. Otherwise, it honestly, it's just a matter of which one you like better. Glyde is a little more expensive, so the enV2 is a little bit of a better value, I guess. But Glyde has the cool factor of the touchscreen, And then, it's form factor. They're both very similar. They're very similar feature-wise. It honestly comes down to, what your preference is, what you want out of a phone. If it was me and I had to pick one, I think I'd go with Glyde just because the touchscreen is cool. And more than that, the form factor, I just like it a little better. It's a little smaller. You don't have to open the phone up to get to some of the advanced features because it's right there on top, which is something that I kind of like. I like having it right there. I like being able to navigate one-handed. But honestly, they're both solid messaging phones, and really the only way to find out is try them for yourself. Go down to the store, check them out, see which one you like better, because honestly, the way something is on paper or on the web can be very different when you get it in your hand. All right? So again, VCast messaging phones, enV2, Glyde. Me personally, I like the Glyde a little bit better, but they're both solid phones, good keyboards, and if you're a heavy messenger and you use Verizon, I think they're both going to serve you well. So check them both out for yourself, make your own decision. All right, as always, much more on Phone Dog. I'm Noah. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.